All right. These, I believe we get all. No, we do get a couple fractions. So, when you're solving these are all written in standard form. Next week when we do some more, they'll be mixed up like stuff on each side, but for today, they're all on the same side. A is the number in front of x. B is the number, or I'm in front of x squared. B is the number in front of x. C is the number without an x. So all you do is substitute these three numbers in for all the letters. So it's going to be negative b plus or minus b squared. Now when you do this, like I said, sometimes if you're not paying attention and this is negative, it'll come up as a negative on your calculator. So the best thing to do to make sure you get it right is just square it right away. Don't put in 6 squared. Just put, everyone knows what 6 squared is, 36. Minus 4 times A times C. All over 2 times A is 2. So, a couple ways to solve this. Myself, I like to figure out what this is first. It's 64.
Easy hunter.
Okay. Which turns to 8. So the two answers are negative 6 plus 8 divided by 2. Now again, this is something that people get wrong when they're using the calculator. When you figure this out, if you just punch in negative 6 plus 8 divided by 2, you're going to get it wrong. Like that. Everyone know why?
Why?
It's going to do this first. So when you figure this out, you got to go negative 6 plus 8, press equals, and then divide by 2. Now usually you can do it in your head. That's 2 divided by 2, it's 1. Then the second answer is negative 6 minus 8 divided by 2. Negative 6 minus 8 is negative 14, negative 7.
I thought that was Hunter. Exactly.
No one can say
Hunter does it.
Okay, number 5. A is 1. B is negative 2. C is negative 15. So you put these in. Negative B. Negative and negative makes positive 2. Plus or minus the square root of B squared. 4. Minus 4 times A times C all over 2 times A. Now, you could do all this at once like on the bigger calculators. As long as you do it, you'd have to put in 2 plus square root parenthesis. Now, I guess I messed up already. No, not really. 4 minus 4 times 1 times negative 5, and then you got to put a parenthesis to show that it's done. Now, you would have to press equals right here before you go divided by 2. Okay? If you don't want to press equals, what you'd have to do is put a parenthesis here, because then it'll figure all that out, and then you can go divided by 2. Either way. But again, what I like to do is just figure out this part.
I can put negative 5 in there instead of negative 15.
So this is 24, right?
Isn't it supposed to be negative 15?
Oh, I got the wrong number. Oh, yeah. Negative 15. 64 again, which is an 8. So 2 plus 8 divided by 2 is 5. 2 minus 8 divided by 2 is negative 3. I don't know if you caught in that one song, they were talking about the discriminant. That's the number under here. If you're going to be gone next week and you're doing these, there's an assignment on that. If the number in here is greater than 0, you're going to get 2 solutions. If this ends up being 0, it's 1 solution. And if you get a negative number here, that's no solution. Okay? Just looking ahead a little bit. All right, number 6. A is 1, B is 12, C is 36. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared is 144 minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So this ends up being 0. So what that means is the two answers are negative 12 plus 0 divided by 2 and negative 12 minus 0 divided by 2, which you get negative 6 for both of them. All that means is if this were a graph, it would just touch at one spot at negative 6 like that, if we were to graph it. That's why if it's 0, you're only going to get one answer.
The pen on my bag.
Okay, so for 7, A is 4, B is negative 8, C is 3. So negative B turns to positive 8, plus or minus B squared is 64, minus 4 times A times C, all over 2 times A, which is 8. So if we figure this out, we get 16. 64 minus 4 times 4 times 3 is 16, which is 4. So my two answers are 8 plus 4 divided by 8, 12 divided by 8, 1.5. And then 8 minus 4 divided by 8, 0.5. There, so you have 2 left. Number 8 and 9. Geez, maybe I should do 8. You'll just have one to do. 8 is not a perfect square, I think. You won't always have perfect squares. Yeah, so you just round, on these they always round to 2 decimals. So A is 3, B is 1, C is negative 1. So negative 1 plus or minus B squared is 1 minus 4 times A times C all over 2 times A is 6. So when we figure this out, you get square root of 13, which is not a perfect square. So these you gotta do on your calculator. -1 plus the square root of 13, press equals and divide by 6. And again, these they round to 2 decimal places. 0.43. Then you gotta do -1 minus the square root of 13, press equals and then divide by 6. And that's -0.767, which would round to 77. Number 9 is gonna be like that. You're gonna get decimals, so round to 2 decimal places.
Yeah,